Hello, everybody. We're going live today for real. I'm gonna wait for a few minutes before I'll start saying anything. Yeah, we're gonna give it like 5 more minutes or 3 more minutes, something like that. Yeah, we're gonna give it like 5 more minutes or 3 more minutes, something like that. If anybody else will be joining us. I know there has been some unofficial streams in the past few days. It was because I was trying to figure this out before we start officially. Yeah, I was trying out the live stream software. It didn't work out. It did not. It was weird. It was lagging. So we're doing it like this. So yeah. Thank you to everybody who was helping me figure it out. Thank you for your help. It did not work out. 5 people watching. Hello, everybody. It's nice to see you. Let me just do a quick introduction to what is going on in here. So, these streams will be just me talking like this to you about exchange students and programs. I'll tell the reason for all of these later once more people join in, hopefully. And these streams will be happening. I'll try it every week, but I know that it won't happen next week because I'm leaving my home, so I won't be here to do it. But in 2 weeks, we should have another one, and I'll try to keep on doing them as long as I can. 7 people. Hello, everybody. Nice to have you. There's piano music behind you if you can hear it. That's my host family. They like piano Disney music. Okay. From all I can hear or see, everything's going good and smooth. I'm watching the stream from another account to see if it's working okay. I'm glad it is. Hey, someone's saying hi in the chat. Hello. I'm glad to see people are interested. Okay, I think we're gonna get started. It's about 3 minutes into the stream, so I'm gonna start with the whole introduction, and other people will hopefully join us later, hopefully. So, formal introduction. My name is Lucie Prajslerova. I know it's hard to say it. People in America just call me Lucie P because it's much easier, and I understand that. I am an exchange student from a country named the Czech Republic. It is located in the center of Europe, and I don't know what's going on. And I became an exchange student because I wanted to come here to the United States of America and try out the life here. So today I'm going to be talking just a quick introduction to what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to tell you a bit like my story. How did I get here? How did I found the program and everything? But throughout these live streams, I'll be covering stuff like in depth. I'll try to cover every part of being an exchange student and everything that there is to it. So yeah, as I already said, these streams will be happening every week. I'll try. They are a part of my exchange program as volunteering because of COVID. There's not much places to volunteer, so I had to come up with original methods or ways to volunteer, and this was one of the ideas. So that's pretty much it. I want to mention it at the beginning of the stream. I came here thanks to two amazing organizations, an American organization named Greenheart Exchange Online, that's the full name, we can call them Greenheart, and a Czech organization named CCI. I'm gonna give you links in the chat to both of their websites, so you could, go there and see stuff, because I know that Czech students are watching. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully that's gonna work. The Greenheart website is for everybody. The CCI, it's for Czech students if you're interested, because that one works. It works just for Czech exchange students. Also, I want to say it at the beginning of this whole thing that, of course, there's going to be a bit of a difference because I'm a Czech exchange student. So, like, the beginning of my story and whatever I'm saying, it's from the point of view of a Czech citizen, not from an American citizen. So if you American people want to become exchange students, you'll have to improvise a bit, because I can't help you from that side. But I also want you to see what it means for me from my side, because that's really interesting, I believe, and it's going to help you in any way, because you know what you can probably expect from your organizations. So I think that should be everything for the introduction. I hope I said everything. If anything, I'm just going to mention it in next live streams that will be coming. Also, if you have any questions for me, don't be afraid to ask. Oh, I'm saying hello to the CEO of CCI, Miss Jana Rula. Hello, I'm glad that you're watching. And yes, I'm going to put down the links again in the chat. Thank you for that. I have it prepared right here with me, so thank you for that information. I'm going to do that quickly. Hello. Okay, there you go. The links are there again, and this time they should work. I know that I copied them in one. I thought it's going to work. Thank you. So let's start with my story. How did I get here? How did this happen? If you're going to expect like a big story that I dreamt of coming to the United States ever since I was a little kid, a big dream, and no. There's some truth to this story, but it's not that kind of a story. I knew about the United States, and it was a bit of a fantasy world for me, because we see USA from films and movies, so it's like you see that world in movies, and you see like the characters going through the streets, and you're like, wow, that's really a cool world. I would want to see that one day, right? So, when I firstly came here and just walked through a street in a county, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in a movie. That's how it felt. So that was interesting. But I did have like a dream of seeing the United States with my very own eyes, but that dream was fulfilled 2 years back when I came here for the first time with my orchestra on a tour. So, the dream came true. And I never thought of becoming an exchange student. I knew that was a thing, that exchange student existed, but, I didn't know much about it. Yeah, it exists, so what? But a year back, we started a new school year when COVID wasn't a thing, 2019, 2020. And I had a new classmate in my class, and I was like, wow, why are you a new student? Why did you come in this class? Because she should have been like, in a higher grade. So I was like, what are you doing here? And then she was like, oh, well, I was an exchange student and I lived in the United States for a year. And I'm like, wow, that's cool. So I, started to question my friend about what it is, what it means, and stuff like that. And it was really interesting. And that's when she showed me the site CCI. And, that's how I found out about it. I knew that exchange programs were shown to us like the year before, but I didn't think much about it. But then she came, and it was like real. So I went and browsed through the whole web page. I was like looking through every possible program they have there. And that's when I found out the J1 program, which is like a whole year just studying at an American high school. And I was like thinking, wow, that's cool. I would like to try that, And there were two options. You either try out a special exam and you can get a scholarship for it, or don't try out for the test and you pay it yourself. And I was like, well, I don't have the money to pay this myself. So, let's try out the exam and maybe I'll get the scholarship for it, But, the scholarship is given just one student out of many. So what's the freaking chance? But let's try it anyway. And, it was a decision from one evening to the next morning. I was just browsing the website one evening, and then the next morning I came to my mom and said, hey, Mom, I want to try out and be an exchange student. Let's try it. And she was like, wow, okay, let's do that. And when I asked her about like the first impression, she said something along the lines like, well, she's going to try it out. There's not much of a chance that she'll make it, but let's try it out. There's still the chance. She didn't trust it that much that I would actually get it. So we did all we could. I wrote an essay to go for the exam because we had to send out an essay around 900 words or 2 pages and a half or 1/3. I quickly written that down. I sent that to them and I came and tried out the exam. The exam was like interesting. It was mostly in English, except one questionnaire that was there at the end. And, after finishing the exam, I was feeling a bit weird because when I was filling out the questionnaire at the end, I didn't even finish answering all the questions. I answered like 13 out of 20 questions. So I'm like, okay, I'm not getting the scholarship. I was completely like, okay, I'm done. I didn't finish it. I'm going to talk about the exam in depth probably in another stream because I don't want to get too much into it right now. But don't worry, I'm going to cover it. Well, after that, we were like, okay, I did the exam. Let's do something fun because I'm completely like destroyed. I just went through an exam. After, I think 5 days, we got the results of the test back. And it told me that I passed the first round. And I'm like, what? What just happened? Just, remembering that you did not even finish a questionnaire at the end, which is really important. I'm like, okay, so that happened. And surprisingly, my mom was like crying. I'm like, I'm happy as you are, but it's still the first round out of we don't know how much. There were 2 rounds in the end, but I thought there was more. I thought there was like 3 rounds in total, but there was just only 2. and most of the stuff was also happening like behind the scenes. We usually just send them stuff, and then you were waiting for months to get a response back. So my mom cried, but we were happy. And after a few months, we started on the second round of getting the scholarship. It wasn't an exam anymore. It was just sending out information to the American side of the organization, or to Greenheart, and they were assessing which one they want to choose as the scholarship student for the year. So you send out a bunch of information. We even made a video. Was really interesting, to say the least, because that's also at the time when COVID started to, it was starting. So it was a bit hard because you were at home, and then you were starting to send out everything through email and hope that you would get everything back. But I got everything for the second round, and that's when we started to wait again for months. I have to say, for months. And the one scary thing about that is that you're not getting any information from the other side. You just have to wait. Wait a second. Okay. Miss Yana Rula, who is the CEO of CI, where I did the exam part, she just commented that the questionnaire is not scored, and it's just to get to know my reactions and experiences with the exchange conditions of participation. Thank you for that. I did not know that, so thank you. Well, that explains a lot of stuff, but I was still scared that I'm like, okay, I did not answer that, so it was still scary at that time. Anyway, yeah, I ended up with the months of waiting. So we were waiting for months to get like the response back from like the next round, when you send out the information, and you were just waiting, did they choose you or did they not choose you? And it was like, you don't know what's happening. Well, and after a few months, again, we got a response back. We got a response that I did became the scholarship student, and that I got the scholarship. And surprisingly, my mom did not cry that time. She was analyzing the email we got, word by word. If each one of that, she was analyzing every word and thinking, well, that because of this word, it might mean that, you probably did not get it yet, but you probably will. She was analyzing it too much. And I'm like, Mom, I think that means I did get it. We were like asking each other so many questions about, did I get it or did I not get it? Because it was just so sudden. Well, in the end, I did get it. Well, after that, we had to finish all of the paperwork necessary to, go. I'm going to cover the paperwork too. Yes, the final decision or result of which student is being chosen is made by Greenheart. Thank you. Forgot to say that. I was actually talking about it. Yes, it's based on all of the things and information that we sent out. It wasn't just like my personal information, but also the video that I talked about, the essay that we sent out. It was an interview, application test. Yeah, it's like, you send out a lot of stuff. I'm going to talk about that in future live streams. After that, we just had to finish a lot of other paperwork to do that. And it was really hard to get that paperwork together. It was so hard because that's when COVID was at its finest. It was during the summer holidays of 2020 and even before that. And that was still at the time when just COVID was around. So it was hard to go around and get everything done. I know that my biggest problem was with vaccinations that I needed to have. There's like a big table of how much stuff you need to have inside yourself to even come here. It was hard because, at that time it was said that, come to your doctor when it's like very necessary, or when you have COVID, or when you feel like you have COVID, and otherwise stay at home and don't come out. And I was like, well, but I still need this stuff. So what am I supposed to do? Well, I just went to my doctor and was like, can you please fill this out for me? It was a bit weird at that time because, you don't know what COVID is. Now we do. But we had to run around our town hall to get documents ready. Then I even found out that my passport is, was expiring too soon. I don't remember the correct date or number or the length of time, but I believe it's supposed to be a few months or even a half a year after your program ends. I don't remember that right now, but I know that my previous passport was expiring around yeah, thank you. It must be at least 6 months after the program ends. And mine was expiring 2 months after, or not 2 months, but it was in December of 2021. It wasn't enough, so I had to, go and let my passport be remade for me. The thing with that was I was also scared of doing that because of COVID, because, again, everybody was saying, stay at home, don't come out if it's not necessary and stuff like that. And there I was going to our town hall to remake my passport, which was still, valid at that time and had plenty of time until it expired. So I was like, hopefully they won't send me away. we had like a fun, like, not fun, but we ran into a person at the town hall, and she wasn't nice to me. She was just, annoyed with me just being there, and it wasn't because of why I was there. She was just annoyed with me altogether, which was surprising. There was the thing, where you have to give your fingerprints to make your passport, and my fingers are really sensitive, and when I work during summer and have my summer job, I wash dishes a lot, and when I do that, my fingers just crack. The skin on my fingers cracks, and that's why my fingerprints don't look that well anymore. Like, it takes a long time to take my fingerprints because, they're destroyed by this. And she was like asking me, are you working with chemicals or something? And she was so annoyed about it. I'm like, no, I'm not. I just have sensitive fingers. I was really scared of her. She was like a lioness waiting for its prey. Yeah, it really seemed that way. But, had to go through it. And of course, then there was the problem of getting a visa to enter the United States. And there was a lot of problems because of COVID. Just like Miss Yanarula before commented in the chat, normally it isn't that hard to get this. I don't know, but I trust her with that. I know that, or I can think that normally it isn't this hard to get stuff done. But first of all, getting an appointment at the embassy in the Czech Republic was a big problem as well. It was just, they were closed for so long because of COVID. That was our mistake. But in the end, we were just waiting for the day where we could schedule an appointment to finish the visa. And I know that I got my visa back a week before my flight, or something like that. Um, the thing was that I left my passport at the embassy, and then it was sent back to me. Um, and just like getting that done was also a bit stressful. And that's when a statement from President Trump at that time came, and he was forbidding certain types of visas to come into the United States because he wanted to preserve working places for Americans because of COVID or something along those lines. And of course, one of the visas that were forbidden to come here were J visas, which was my visa. I don't know right now if I understood the concept exactly, but I think that the J visas are for students who are not only studying but also working here in the United States. But I am not working here. I do not, my program is not, study and work. It's just studying at a high school. So I had an exception for that. But it still was hard. Um, yeah, it was really stressful. I was like, hope everything works out. So yeah, just that statement came out. My mom was the first one to tell me about it, and that's when we got an email from Miss Rua that this is happening. So, but that's where she told us that we have an exception because we're not working students, we're just students. So everything should be fine. And also because of our because of other forms that we were given, we should be allowed to come because we're not working students. So, at that time it was stressful, but I felt like I tried to calm myself down because I knew that I had everything correct. Everything is working fine. I do have an exception. I'm not going to work there. Stuff is going to be fine. Well, guess what? Stuff happened at the airport. It was an amazing story. Like, this was the worst flight I ever had in my entire life. So we came to the airport in Prague, in my country, and, we came to the counter. I was about to get my flight tickets, was ready with all my baggage and everything. And then the miss behind the counter, she came to me and said, like, do you have a student ID card from your school or something like that? I'm like, no, I don't. I just have my visa, these forms. What is going on? She was like trying to figure out something on her computer, and then she sent me aside. And that's when we found out that this all is happening because of the statement from President Trump, who posted about the J visas not coming to the United States. And that's where the problem started. So I presented like all types of forms that I had, and we had to make multiple calls around all embassies that were in the Czech Republic, in the United States. Like, it was like long calls. And just to say, we arrived, I think, 3 hours in advance. Yeah, the airport staff was miserably informed us entry. That's true. And we came like 2 hours ahead of time, so I could like get the flight tickets and just spend time with my family before I leave. No, I spent those 2 hours just taking phone calls around embassies because, our airports were miserably informed. So that's what I was doing for the whole 2 hours. And I was just so scared of what's going to happen because, even if my flight would be denied, I can't change my visa. I can't because the visa's right because, it's connected to my reason coming to the United States. So I can't change it, and it was so like, please just let me go or something. Just, it was so stressful. Like, so, I didn't know what to do. In the end, I didn't get like a response. Yes, you can go. No, you can't go. What happened was that they took my suitcase and they sent it directly to Denver, which was my final destination in the United States, in Colorado. So they would send my baggage to Denver straight. But they gave me a flight ticket just to Amsterdam, which was my first stop. I had 3 flights in total. So my first flight was Prague, Amsterdam, and they gave me a flight ticket for just that one, not for the other 2, because they didn't confirm it if I could enter the United States or not. So they would send me there, and I would have to get the other 2 flight tickets in Amsterdam, and if I don't, they will send me back. The funny thing about this is I would be sent back home, but my luggage is going to Denver. And like, who's gonna pick it up there? Like, like, it was a bit weird, but it was so stressful. Like, I did not enjoy a single flight because of this stuff. Thank you. They would send the baggage back. Thank you. Then I arrived in Amsterdam. I was like mentally so destroyed at that time because I was like, shivering with fear. What's gonna happen next? Like, will they send me home? Will they send me to America? What's gonna happen? And also another thing, when we ended all of those like calls and they send my baggage and they send me, it was like just like before the flight was leaving, like the plane was leaving, I had to run through the whole airport to get to the gate, and they were announcing my name, like, come on, we're already leaving, you need to be here, come on, like, and I was like halfway there because I had to run through the whole airport, because I just, at that point, I wasn't even paying attention to like where the gate is. I was so messed up from what happened at that counter. It was so scary. But in the end, I got there. Thankfully, one of the people in the staff, the woman, she was like there with me, and like she saw how we were making those calls, and then she had to run off because she had to work at the gate, and she recognized me. So she was like, okay, she's here, don't worry, we have her. So they took me in. Thankfully, I wasn't stopped at like a check or something. I got to Amsterdam. I left the plane, and the first thing I did, like, I came out of the tube, when you're leaving the plane, and I was like to the, well, not flight attendant, but the assistant there, hey, I need my other 2 flight tickets. Can you print them for me? And she was like, yeah, I can. And that's when I showed her all of the paperwork, and she was like, I can't print them. And I was like, okay, this is scary. I don't have them. And she was, okay, so you're going to follow that sign with the N in there, and after you get to the counter, they should help you. So that's what I did. I just like followed a bunch of signs and got to the counter. There was a man behind the counter. I told him I need my other 2 flight tickets. I showed him my passport. I showed him all of my forms and paperwork. And that's again when the freaking calls started again. And I had like 50 minutes in total before my next flight. So another hour of calls. So he was calling again all around embassies and stuff like that. And it was like scary again, because at one point he was doing like, nah, you're probably, it's not probably gonna work in anything. But in the end, thankfully, when like at least 2 other people came in to help him with me, in the end, I got my other 2 flight tickets in time to get to the gate and fly away from Amsterdam to Atlanta. It was so scary. And the thing was that, like, the good part about it was that the guy behind the counter, he was like joking with me and trying to make me feel a bit better. He was joking around it, and we were just talking for a second. He was really nice to me and just making me feel better. So I was happy. It was better, but I could not enjoy the rest of the flights because I was still scared. Please don't stop me anywhere. Please don't send me back. Please just don't. I just want to go. It was so freaking bad. COVID is destroying lives. So, yeah, so I had my second flight from Amsterdam to Atlanta, which was the longest one, around 8 hours, I think. I don't remember correct right now. I would have to look. And in Atlanta, I had to go, border check. That's what America does. So that went pretty well, actually. It wasn't my first time, of course, because I was there with my orchestra once. So it was a bit familiar to me. Thankfully, everything went fine. I got through Atlanta. I took my baggage and put it again on the last flight to Denver. And then I arrived in Denver. And I met my host family. They are amazing. I have to say, I love my host family. But that first night was a bit weird because they were so welcoming and they had so many questions, like, what do you want to see in the United States? What do you want to see in Colorado? What's your favorite food? What do you like to do? And I was so sad about the fact that they wanted to know so much, but I was just unable to give any reaction. I was tired from the flights. I was tired and mentally destroyed from all of this trouble. I just couldn't say stuff anymore. I just couldn't do it. It was so draining. And also, in my mind, I was also thinking, I hope that my baggage arrives because I was here already with my orchestra. There were baggages getting lost on the way back when we were coming home. They lost like a baggage of at least 7 people. So I was like, please, the baggage, please come with me. Don't stay somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But everything worked out fine. The start was a bit rough. Okay, not a bit. It was rough. I'm not gonna lie. It was rough. But in the end, I got here and everything is working fine. When it comes to my life here, I love it. I really do. Many people are asking me, like, are you really enjoying it here? Because, COVID is limiting you in many ways and, you can't do a lot of stuff. To that, I say yes. Yes, it does. But on the other hand, the program is as fun you make it. If you want to have fun and if you want to enjoy it, you have to work yourself and just try to make it fun for you, even with these limitations. So, yes, COVID is limiting me in many ways, but I can't say that I regret coming here. I love it. I'm enjoying every second of this freaking trip. I love my host family. I love my friends that I made here. And it's just amazing. It's amazing just to come here and try to live here. And it's also interesting when you take it from my point of view. If I would be in my country right now, I would be in lockdown, sitting at home, doing homework every day, and who knows what else. Here, I'm going to school 4 days a week, and we're coming back to 5 days a week soon. So I'm going to school, I'm making friends, and I just found out, not only I can do theater here, because theater is opened again, I am in a great club with my friends, and not only that, I found out that we'll have a prom, that there will be choir concerts outside, COVID friendly. And like that stuff is, you know, coming alive a bit here. It's live. We are alive here. So that's why this is so amazing to me, because normally at this time I would be sitting at home in front of a computer the whole day. Here I'm just going outside of the house. I can make friends, I can spend time with my friends, and it's amazing. And just, you know, it is limited by COVID. One of the limitations is the fact that I can't volunteer fully as I would want to, because, you know, I heard so much from other people who volunteered here before, and they could do so much stuff that, you know, working in a library, helping seniors, help, you know, work with kids at a kindergarten and stuff like that, which is something that I personally like to do as well. It's just that because of COVID, I can't do it. Buildings are closed, you know, and because of COVID, you can't get in touch with a lot of people. And like many, you know, even with my coordinator who I have here with me, we were talking about how am I going to volunteer in the first place? Like, what am I going to do? And she was like, well, I don't know if I can even help you, because most of my ideas is stuff that you have to do when COVID isn't here. So great. That's when we thought of my first way to volunteer, which is free violin lessons. I am a musician, and I've been playing violin for over 11 years. So I'm like, I think I can teach children how to play an instrument that I've been playing for quite some time. So I right now I have 4 students in total, and some of them are coming regularly, some of them are not. And I'm trying to volunteer in that way. And it's been a blast. Like, those kids are amazing. Most of them are practicing hard and working, and it's so much fun to like be with those kids. Another way I volunteered was concerts at a local church here, because there was around Christmas, they had a Christmas service in the church, and my host mom's friend, who plays the piano and works there and accompanies on an organ. Well, it's not an organ, you know. I don't know. Wow, I'm really convincing people that I'm a musician when I don't know what's the name of the instrument. Anyway, well, she asked me if I wouldn't want to accompany her and her friend during the Christmas service. And from there, another friend of hers asked me too if I don't want to accompany her in a trio or a quartet. I think it was a quartet of singers on the violin. So I accompanied 2 ensembles during that service, and it was so much fun. I loved it. It's so much fun. And another way I volunteered, I was just baking. Again, around Christmas time, we were baking some candy and some sweets, and then we were distributing them to the family, friends, and just around town. So, you know, distributing candy. And another way I volunteer, which is right now, is making live streams about what it means to be an exchange student. I hope that whoever will become an exchange student, from the people that are listening, I hope you don't have to go through the awful pain that I went through on the airport. So I hope that you'll have an amazing exchange program if you try to do it. And trust me, it's amazing. Like, wow. So yeah, that's about like the big story, how I got here. What else to say? You know, when it comes to my future, or like, I'm saying future, but I have to sadly say that I have like only 3 months here. And it's scary, but like, you know, I don't want to leave, but I also do want to leave because, I love my host family and friends that I made here, but I also miss my normal family back home. So that's a bit sad. um, uh, I hope that I can just finish this whole program on a high note because I'm trying to do as much as I can do with everything, every limitation that I have. Like, I wanted to join theater here because, I love theater and I want to do something more than, you know, just going to school because I'm used to do much more every day because of the daily routine I had back home. So this felt a bit weird when I started out. I was just going school, home. Normally I'm like in town for the whole day and come home around 8 in the afternoon. So that's why I'm glad that I started theater here. I'm also glad that I started Sources of Strength club, which is an amazing club. It's like an organization that works all over America. And it's a club that gets to school with helping students with hard life situations. Like really hard life situations. I don't know if I can say the words because YouTube has their rights about what you can say or not say. But, hard life situations. So I'm glad I am in that group. I think I should mention this. I am right now in Windsor, Colorado, and I'm attending Windsor Charter Academy High School, WCA. If anyone from there is watching, hi. I'm glad to be at your school. Your school is amazing. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna see if anybody, I didn't see anything, but if anybody has, again, questions, just feel free to ask me anything. Also, as Rula said, I felt so sorry for all of you who had troubles like this. She's talking about the airport stuff. You were not the only one. Once again, lack of correct information from the embassy. All of you were okay to get on the plane and enter the US. Yeah, I think that like everybody, I think the problem was that the Czech embassy was really, Czech airports were really badly informed about that. Because when I came to America, there was no problem with that. Zero. The only thing that I had to go through there was border check, and that was completely fine. 3 questions, and I could go. So, stuff happened, but we got through it, so great. For now, yeah, I forgot to say this at the beginning, so I'm sorry about that. But the reason why I came up with live streams as a way to volunteer in the first place was because at WCA, I'm in yearbook. I'm the yearbook staff. And for this semester, I'm working on a spread or 2 pages on exchange students. And I was thinking about how, to include WCA students more into the spread because usually it's about the exchange students more. So I sent out a poll to the school if students from WCA would want to become exchange students too, if they could choose the country where they would want to go. And surprisingly, most of them said yes, that they want to become exchange students. I was like, wow, okay. And that's when it clicked in my head that when I firstly found out about exchange programs, I was thinking, what was it that I really wanted to know what it means to be an exchange student? What is it that I question so much about it? Like, how does it feel? How do the students see it from their point of view? And that's when I was like, what if I do live streams about it? because there's a lot of things that I would want to know from the point of view of the student. So that's why I'm here today. So yeah, and as the final section of the live stream, I also send out another poll for yearbook for students to ask us, like us exchange students, because there's 2 of us in the school, questions that they would want us to answer. And surprisingly, I was thinking like one student sends me 1 question. No, like I got an answer from 1 student and there's around 20 questions in that 1 answer. So I was thinking about at the end of each stream, I could answer 1 or 2 questions from the students, because not all of them are gonna fit in the yearbook. So I took like 5 out of entirety of like 40 questions that I got, but I want to answer all of them for the students who are interested. So I'm gonna take it from the top and just, try it out. Okay, so the first question that is here is, what is your favorite food from your country? Wow. This is really hard, because when it comes to like typical Czech food, I guess our candle sauce with dumplings. Candle sauce is really, really delicious. And no, there's no candles in it. That's what everybody asks me when I say that to anyone, and I say candle sauce. They're like, "Wait, so there's candles in it?" I'm like, "No, it's not candles. There's no candles in it. Don't be afraid." Dumplings in general are really good. I made some for my host family. They really liked them, even though they were really poorly made. They were not salted enough, but I still tried. I'm still gonna try hard to make more. Well, depends which ones you're doing, but the ones that I did were potato dumplings, and those are not that hard to make. So yeah. Another question, could you come back next year if you wanted? That's an interesting question. I think, well, I definitely would want to come back, but, one thing is, I want to give the chance to other students to experience this, because it's an amazing experience to come into another country for a year. The experience is amazing and enormous. So I want to give that chance to other students, so I don't want to take a place when I already been here. So that's one thing. Second thing, again, I cannot afford this. So again, my other choice would be to go again for a scholarship. But again, I want to give that chance to someone else, because this, experience for life. So, but I hope I will come back once again, because I really, really love my host family. There's just a financial problem we have. So, I don't know how long will it actually take me to get enough, money to come back here and to see my friends again. But I'll definitely keep in touch with them, because I can't just leave these guys alone here. I love them too much. And, second family. It's a second family now. So can't exactly leave that. So I would really want to, and I hope I will, come back, because this is amazing. But it'll take a long time, and I even think that my host family said something about them coming to us to see my country. Oh yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Rua. I'll see you again on Sunday. Thank you. So yeah, that's one thing, and I'll go for one last question before we end the stream, what is my favorite thing about Colorado? That's the hardest question. Okay, I don't know if I can answer that. There's so many amazing things about Colorado. It's you know, there's a lot of stuff. I just like, okay, I can't see like the whole Colorado, but Windsor, here where I live, it's amazing. I love the view in general. Just coming out, they have a beautiful lake here just behind the house. That's amazing. So we can go paddleboarding every summer. Like in the summer, we went paddleboarding. That was amazing, freaking awesome. Uh, then the view on the mountains when you go outside is awesome as well. Like, I don't have giant rocks behind my house in Czech. No, I don't. That's one thing. Um, uh, you know, I love my friends. They are an amazing part of Colorado. I love my host family. They're an amazing part of Colorado. Um, what else I could say? Oh yeah, the Rocky Mountains here. I went there and I've seen an elk. Oh my god. I've never been so close to an elk like this. Like so close to them before. Wow. That was an experience. It was amazing. And also the like being in WCA, the high school itself is also really, really amazing because, it's an American high school. Again, the stuff you see in movies and you're living it. For Americans, it's probably not that interesting, but, just imagine you would watch a movie and then you would leave for a year and lived in the environment you see in the movie. Let's pick something. Okay, Tangled. Let's say Tangled. Everybody knows Tangled from Disney. So imagine Corona, like the kingdom, not the virus right now. Imagine that kingdom. You've been watching it for so long, right? And then you go on an exchange program and you're suddenly there. You're like, oh my God, I'm living in a movie. That's how it feels. So yeah. That's how amazing this is to me. Yeah. So this will be all for today's. Okay. Bye. And my host family's leaving right now. Yeah, that's gonna be everything for this stream. I'm happy that some of you listened. I see 4 people here. There was like 5, 6 people listening throughout the whole thing. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Again, next week I won't be able to be here because I'm leaving. I'm going on a trip to Texas. Oh my God. I can go tripping. I can go on a trip in the United States. A thing that can happen even with COVID here. So, that's how happy I am. Hi, Miss Eclipse. We're just finishing the stream. Sorry you came a bit late. So yeah, that's why I won't be here next week, but I'll be glad if all of you could join me 2 weeks later. My English is bad, I'm sorry. 2 weeks later, and that's when we'll have another part of these streams. I'm also planning to bring some guests into these streams, like someone from my host family or my coordinator or anyone else, really. So I hope this is gonna work out. Also, I wanted to say, if you want to keep up with these streams uh, and you just want to keep up and know when it's happening, you can subscribe to my channel, and it's going to send you invitations. But if you're here just for those streams, you can subscribe and then unsubscribe after it's ended. But I would be glad to have you here on my channel, because I'm doing some art stuff, and after I'm going to run out of themes to talk about when it comes to exchange students, I'll probably switch to some art stuff. So yeah. Have a great day, everybody. It was nice talking with you, and I'll see you in 2 weeks. Bye.